There we go.
Alrighty. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a happy Tuesday morning here in Bris Vegas.
The sun's shining.
The sun's shining. The birds are
chirping.
doing their bird thing. And today we're going to be sharing about the 8-hour gong meditation sleepover that we did a couple of Saturdays ago. And yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about. So basically the event was, I think, about 30 of us participants in a room around these gongs. I think there was about 8 gongs that they had set up in like a kind of like a box formation in the center of the space. The guy that was running it, Leith James, I think his name was, he was kind of like the main gonger.
Gong master?
The gong master. And he'd also had a bunch of students that had done some gong course training that day and were helping out with gonging throughout the evening. So we kind of, I think it was about 10 o'clock that the 10 p.m. the gonging started, and then went till about 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, continuous
gonging.
There was not a moment of silence in the 8 hours.
No. Until the 5 minutes at the end, after 6 a.m, where there was 5 minutes of silence. So, because I remember that distinctly.
Yes, there was a pleasant, a distinct silence, wasn't it? After 8 hours of being soaked in the vibrations of the gong.
So there's meant to be lots of sound therapy benefits from gong, listening to gongs or feeling the vibration of the gongs, through your body. So what was your, did you have any expectations going in, or what were your thoughts going into the experience?
I actually didn't know what to expect. I just turned up with an open mind.
Yeah.
I knew that the gongs would be going for 8 hours, and I guess I wasn't quite sure as to what to expect and how I was going to react to that.
Yeah.
Trying to sleep through in front of gongs being played, but surprisingly it wasn't as loud as what I thought that it would have been, and the drum things that he used were quite soft, and it was a soft sound.
My experience was the opposite, but go on. I'm like, these are so loud. Oh my God, I wish I brought my earplugs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's my experience.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, go on.
Interesting, yeah. No, because I was watching him as he was playing, and he was going up, and it was just very soft. It was very...
yeah, but they had like plush little drum, whatever the thingies are, gong like, instruments. I don't know.
Yeah, with bits of foam. I
thought they were fluffy.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Fluffy foam.
Yeah. Something soft.
Can we say fluffy
foam? How about
foam?
that? Fluffy foam, something soft.
Yeah,
and so it wasn't like a...
It wasn't about the volume, was it?
No. And I think it was more the way that they used it. It was kind of like a brushing through. Like that's what it was. Like some bits there were like direct hits, but then I think sometimes it was like this brushing through kind of sweeping motion with it.
Yeah, so they'd hit it, but it would be flop along it, which would keep that actual clanging out of it, which I was expecting. So it was interesting to watch that. At the start of the session, I was getting used to the gonging, just the noise, and I'm like, how was I going to get sleep in that? But yeah, look, the noise wasn't the issue during the night for me anyway.
What was the issue for you during the night?
It's just been in unfamiliar surrounds, sleeping with
a bunch of random strangers.
Yeah. Aside from you, I didn't know anyone else there. And I was just very conscious of my surrounds. And
because you had a couple next to you, didn't you? So I was kind of like next to an aisleway, or like a pathway that they'd created. So
yeah, Yeah, I had a couple next to me, so
And we had people behind us, like I think the students were actually behind us because the guy, was it Jürgen that we were speaking to, who was one of the students? He was behind me. Yeah. So I think all of them were actually behind there near where the bar was. So.
Yeah, I don't know, how do you go with people watching you sleep?
Well, I don't think anyone was watching me sleep. Although Jürgen did say the next day, because I said I wasn't quite sure how much sleep I actually got in the whole sleepover. I don't know, at the beginning, Leith James mentioned, the gong master mentioned that, you know, he didn't use a sleepover, he said, for the gong event, or he used a different word and basically said, oh, notice I didn't say sleepover, or I notice I didn't say sleep. And so, I don't think I was that fussed about, other people in the room. I mean, like, you know, they did create it as, you know, there's always going to be someone watching the door. You're in a safe space. There wasn't like, you know, it's not like we're going to have...
if you need to leave...
You're welcome to leave kind of thing. It didn't feel like there was going to be any intruders coming in from, you know, outside the space. So I felt safe in that respect that, you know, there was someone looking after us as we were sleeping or trying to sleep or getting to some sort of meditative state to enjoy the sound vibrations. But yeah, I realised I've been, because we didn't do the podcast straight away, I've been processing, you know, a lot of the event since then. And I just realised that I just kind of went in with the wrong mindset. Like I kind of went in with the mindset of, I'm expecting to sleep during this experience. And I don't think I actually slept. I mean, I'm sure I probably micro slept or probably had a little bit of sleep, but I didn't feel like I had much sleep at all. And, I felt that the gongs were actually quite loud. Not all the time, but the crescendo would get, you know, really, really loud. And I wasn't fussed about, you know, being in this space with strangers. But yeah, it's like, you know, in hindsight, what I would have done differently would have a nap on the Saturday afternoon. Like have a good nap on the Saturday afternoon, come in expecting to just, you know, have a, you know, vibrational sound experience, which will be meditative, may not necessarily be sleep, because I kind of went in feeling quite tired, wanting to sleep. And I even had a thought of, God, wish you guys would just stop for a minute. Like, can you just stop for a minute so I can have some sleep?
Let me get to sleep.
Yeah. Completely the wrong mindset to have. And I mean, I've done sound bath meditations previously, you know, with sound bowls and gongs and rain sticks and stuff like that, but not like 8-hour sleepover one. That they're more like an hour and a half, you know, kind of event. And like, you know, I didn't expect to sleep in those, so it was just like, it's, you know, getting myself my
because it was an overnight for 8 hours. You were just expecting that you'd be sleeping.
Yeah.
And the reason that we didn't do the podcast directly after is because neither of us got much sleep and were very tired, so I thought it would be better to do the podcast with a bit of personality. And
I'm not sure if I brought my personality today, but I'll do my best. But it was like, in terms of the after effects for me, it's like, you know, I really felt the sleep deprivation for quite a few days afterwards. Like I've noticed that I lost a lot of my language, as in, like, I'd be teaching, like I teach Zumba classes, and I'd be teaching some classes and I'd be doing something and my mouth would say something different I'd be going, oh, if we're doing squats, I'd be going, okay, do a lunge, or, you know, do a V-step or something, when I actually meant for them to do like a side step. So or I was just like, oh, do this? What is this called again? Like, it was like I did that so many times.
You were altered.
Yeah, and so there was this level of losing a bit of my language and getting that connection. So that was like quite a few days afterwards. I did have a nap on the Sunday, so this was on a Saturday night. I did have a nap on the Sunday afternoon. But I didn't get a good night's sleep. Like, I didn't have extra sleep that night, so I felt like I just wasn't... It took me a few days to kind of get caught up and get my language back. So, but yeah, what about you in terms of, you know, after the event, what was your experience? Did you feel, you know, a sense of healing or a change, or what did you notice after the event, or even during the event?
During the event, I felt that my brainwave state were altered, because with the gonging, they're actually going through the different hertz and taking you through into different brainwave states. So I did sort of feel that I was awake, but I wasn't awake, type thing, and I did feel a little bit of discomfort Yeah, sort of, because part of the gong experience or sound healing is it can bring up a little bit of upheaval, which was uncomfortable for me at times, because what it's doing is the vibrations are going through your body, right? So that's the whole point of the gong, and just being in it for that prolonged period. There's some stuff moving. I don't know what it was, but it didn't feel that nice. But nothing's permanent, so we just sort of sat.
Yeah.
I just went with what was happening. And then the following few days, that was continually, not all of the time, but it was coming up. For the next couple of days,
was coming up, or?
The discomfort, yeah. Just releasing different blockages or whatever it was that was coming through for me. So that's how I felt. Plus, the next day I was tired because I felt like I was saying, it wasn't the noise that kept me awake. It was just the surrounds, and
Plus, you were sleeping on a yoga mat as well.
I was sleeping on a yoga mat.
And a lot of people had like
well
mattresses
underprepared. I just wasn't sure how much stuff we could take.
Yeah.
I would have gone and got a blown up mattress.
Yeah, there were a lot of other people with blown up I had like a folding mattress that I bought specifically.
They were decked out.
Yeah,
they looked like they were professional at it.
Yeah. And we're like the amateur newbies. And we're like,
Yeah, so I not having that sleep, so I was a bit, as I am when I don't get sleep, I was a bit sort of grouchy the next day. That was sort of my experience, just waking up just felt like every 5 minutes I was awake and, looking around and trying to get in the right position and conscious I didn't want to be snoring in front of all those people that I didn't know.
There's probably not much you could do about that though.
Yeah, but I haven't seen any of them again anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
And would you know if you saw them anyway? Like I probably wouldn't recognise any of them. Jürgen I'd probably recognise on Leith obviously, but some of the others I don't think I'd recognise. So
yeah, not unless they.
Because a lot of people were sleeping when we arrived anyway, kind of like they were lying in bed, in their beds anyway. So, but yeah, it's interesting what you raised around the discomfort. Like I remember that was that I've had in previous sound bath experiences where with a different facilitator, she would say that just allow whatever to come up. It's just come up for a reason. The sound healing is doing its work at a vibrational level, and I actually really enjoyed that because she was like, I remember her saying something about sometimes we'll have helicopters or planes going past, and the distinction was don't allow the sound to interrupt what was going on in that space, just allow the sound to flow through you. And I actually really got a lot out of that because at that time there was one of the units in my unit block was getting renovated, and so like I'd be woken up a lot from the renovation noises because I was actually on holidays at the time. It was like over Christmas or something like that, and so I had to practice this whole just allow the noise to run through you, or if a lawnmower would get off on start on a Sunday morning, just allow the sound to run through you. And so it was just like using that kind of like allowing the gong to the vibration of that and the sound of that to kind of like wash through me. And I was getting quite headachy, like I could feel the energy kind of like in my head, and so I found to begin with that I was getting quite headachy around that. And it was just like particularly at the front of my forehead space, kind of like that's where I kind of feel like that energy kind of I guess build up and then want to release from that space. So it was a going, oh okay, yep, there's some energy going on, I'm feeling headachy, let's drink plenty of water and kind of move on from there. One of the things that I did notice though, because I didn't realise that Leith the Gong Master had I got a bit confused because I remember waking up because basically the event was that Leith would start off the gong and then he would finish off at the gong. And I think when we were speaking with one of the students, Jürgen, I think he was saying that the students had like blocks of like 35 minutes.
35 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, to gong. And I remember waking up at some time and I remember thinking, wow, this person's really awesome at gonging. And I'm like, I wonder who this is. So I kind of got up and I'm like, and I was expecting it to be Leith. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't look like what Leith was wearing the night before. But then later on I realised that I got confused because he had like this black overcoat thing and then he was in this like this tan shirt. And what I saw was a guy with a tan shirt. So it was actually Leith that was playing, but I thought it wasn't Leith because he wasn't wearing the same thing that he was wearing when he was introducing the event, kind of thing. And then I'm like, because I got very confused. I'm like, oh, hang on, this is some other random dude. And not some other random dude, but not Leith. And then I realised, oh, it was actually Leith because when he closed the event, he was still wearing the same tan shirt that he was wearing when he was gonging. So anyway, my point is that I could notice the difference between the level of skill that Leith has in his gonging versus the other students, kind of thing, which you would expect because they're just learning. But it was like there was a massive difference for me in that. It was something that I noticed straight away, and I'm like, oh, I wonder who this is. They're doing really awesomely. So
yeah, no, it was quite noticeable. But the gong students did
they did an awesome
right.
job. But I just noticed the difference between Leith's level of expertise and theirs.
Yeah, I think Leith lives with the gongs.
Yeah. Well, if you're a gong master, then yeah, obviously there's going to be an upper level of I guess mastery there. So I guess if you're a gong master, you need to have a level of mastery, right?
I wonder what the experience would be as actually playing the gongs.
Because I imagine that would be quite meditative.
Same benefits as what we did on the outside. That's some of the prices on the actual gongs.
Yeah, what was
starting at $1,500, I think.
Going up to $5,000, I think, for one of the gongs that was there.
Yeah, and I saw that he posted up on Facebook just in the last couple of days that he got a new one. So that'd be interesting, and to get the different hertz. I wonder.
Yeah, because I don't know how the gong works. It's like, do they have a different sound frequency?
Do you hit it in a different place?
Like what's the difference between all these 8 gongs? Because obviously they're different.
Yeah.
Otherwise you could just use the same one gong kind of thing, or a couple of gongs, just to keep the sound, like kind of that, like, that row you boat kind of continuation of the sound. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so I don't know.
Is there one that's for theta brainwaves and one?
Well, see, now you're getting deep.
Well, you've got to look at these.
Do I need to? Well, it's interesting because it's like I would really like to know why
it's food for thought.
They have, because they did have, it was 8, wasn't there?
There was 8.
Yeah, so they were kind of like in a square. So 2.
Leith's got at least 8. Well, he'd have 9 now.
Yeah, not that we can. We've got maybe they should have their own page, like the Leith's gongs, the life of Leith's gongs. Actually, that would be quite interesting. But I'm intrigued by. Because it was set up in a box, and the gong player was actually in the middle of the box, and there was 2 gongs
on each frame,
so one above each other.
So that's 8.
And
yeah.
so it's kind of like northeast, southwest kind of directionally, I suppose. I don't know if that was set up that way, but that's just as a frame of reference. We can use that. But yeah, and then the gong player was on the inside, which I didn't realise to begin with, because I was like, oh, why don't we just go on the inside? And they're like, but you're going to get stood on. I'm like, oh, okay. When we're getting, because they kept moving us around because they were trying to work out where the aisles were and with the lights and stuff like that. So trying not to get lights in people's eyes. So I'm so glad I bought like an eye mask, a sleep mask with me. So that was actually really good.
Because I actually thought that you were just sleeping all night.
Yeah.
I didn't have a clue that you didn't sleep.
Oh,
I didn't have an eye mask.
No, I was trying to work on slowing my breathing down, because it's like, I've noticed sometimes I get a bit of anxiety, and so I find that when I'm breathing slower, it just helps to calm me down. It helps me to relax. I mean, I think it's a good state to be in, for sleep kind of thing. It's like, I think in order to sleep, you need to kick in that nervous system. I can't remember which one it's called. The one that's, in a restful space kind of thing. Yeah. But no, so I was just trying to keep still. I was moving around a lot because at first I was like quite hot, and then it's like, I took off my hiking socks. I had like a blanket, I had my sheets, and then I had a second blanket, and then I had started off with my big summer blanket folded in half, and then and then my little blanket.
Because it was quite warm in there, wasn't it?
It was quite warm to begin with, and then then they put the aircon on. I think they cranked up the aircon, and then it got a little bit cold, so I was putting on layers. And then towards the end, I was like taking off my hiking socks. If I could, I would have taken off my trekkie pants because I was really hot in my trekkie pants. I ended up with just like having a sheet and just one layer of the summer blanket kind of thing. And so I remember saying to you the next day, it's like, oh, I did all this, and you're like, oh wow, I must have slept because I don't remember you doing any of that.
I just thought you were out like a log or not.
No. I was just like, oh, go this side, that side, and this side, and that side. And my back was hurting a little bit. So that wasn't, entirely comfortable either. But it was...
On your big, comfortable fold-out
Well, it's only like this. The mattress is only this thick kind of thing. So it wasn't as big as some of the... I think the couple next to you had, like, their mattress was like, what, this...
Yeah, they had...
Like a good 15 centimetre, 20 centimetre.
Ensemble one.
Yeah. And I've just got my moving guys coming in with my bed, okay? Oh, my goodness. So yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience, and I did enjoy, the gongs. I'm not sure if I'd do a sleepover again, but I would go to, like, one of the 2 hour,
2 or 3
shorter
hour sessions,
ones,
yeah.
definitely, and then come in with the mindset of, not expecting to sleep kind of thing, but just, enjoying the healing benefits of the sound vibrations. So, and it was a great spot. The location was fantastic at the Toowong Rowing Club. Like the next morning we kind of went out on the deck and
overlooking the river.
That was stunning. Really, really beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
So what would you have done differently about the event? Besides not just having a yoga mat, getting a proper mattress of some sort, getting an eye mask or a sleep mask.
Maybe slept in the afternoon before, like
Yeah.
you said earlier. It would have been a good idea. I actually intentionally went in tired so that I could fall asleep.
I think that's what I did too, but then I got cranky because I didn't fall asleep, and then they kept playing. And then I remember actually when it was silent, I just went through this space of, like, at the end, it must have been about 6 a.m, that I was like, oh, silence. And then I remembered he said, oh, we only have 5 minutes of silence. And then I'm like, no. But yeah, I think we were both a little bit spaced out, the next day.
Couldn't hold a conversation.
No,
well,
we had a nice walk though through Mount Cootha.
We did. Yeah.
That was good actually. It was a nice chilled out. We didn't really talk much, just be with nature.
When your brainwaves have been altered for that amount of time, it is hard to string a sentence together. Because I remember a few years ago I was listening to Holosync, which is a brain entrainment thing, which is similar to the Gong meditation. And I'd over-listened.
You over-listened?
Yeah, because I used to fall asleep with it. And you listen to it for an hour, and it's got a max of 2 hours a day.
Oh, wow, okay.
I fell asleep with my iPod and it was on repeat.
Like repeat? Oh, no, okay.
And I probably didn't listen until for 8 hours, but it was definitely over the 2.
Wow.
And I was struggling to get a sentence out the next day, to get words out. I was like, I struggle at the best of times, but...
Isn't that fascinating though? It's like, what is it about that stuff that causes that to happen though? Like, it obviously...
Yeah.
Like, why language specifically?
Neural pathways.
Because my movement, like, I could still teach my Zumba class, like, I still had the muscle memory. Like, the muscle memory was there and I knew what the choreography was, but, I couldn't verbalise a lot of the instructions or the cueing. Like, I couldn't provide verbal cues.
It must...
I could, but I was just doing the wrong thing.
Affect the language.
Yeah.
Like, getting from the brain, you know what you want to say, but
it
comes out differently. Like squat, lunge.
Yeah. V-step versus, side step or, whatever kind of thing. So it was, that's just kind of fascinating. I suppose it's like, music and gong stuff, I guess, is more primal. Because I find it interesting when they do those tests with the Parkinson's and the dementia patients, where they'll play with the dementia patients, they'll play music from, music from their childhood or their growing up era kind of thing, and they'll just come back to life kind of thing. They'll reconnect with who they were. And same with the Parkinson's, they'll play music and they will dance to the music, and all their shakes not all their shakes perhaps, but a lot of their shaking has actually disappeared. So I just find that really amazing, the power of, I guess, the vibration, the power of the music, and the power of movement to kind of like override some of the the more complex, like the non-primal parts of the brain, I suppose, and the gong kind of, I don't know if the gong, I'm just making this up to be honest, that kind of taps into the more primal side of our brain, like, you know, the primal nature of who we are. So, because I guess it's just like, because I had in my class yesterday, one of the participants brought her granddaughter along, and she's just like dancing away to the music, has no idea what the moves. It's like a toning class, so she just got these two little sticks. She's doing these two little sticks, pretending they're her little toning sticks, and it was just so cute. It was like really awesome. But it's like, you know, we naturally dance and move and, you know, resonate to music, you know, kind of thing. So I think there's a lot of power in music, and I think there's a lot of power in, like, you know, the sound bowls and, you know, the gongs as well.
Yeah, it
so
definitely plays its part.
Yeah.
So get along and book your 8-hour gong meditation. Tip: have a
sleep.
Have a sleep, but also make sure you're comfortable.
Make sure you're comfortable. Yes.
And
yes.
just go in with an open mind.
Yeah, because I think for each person's experience is different.
Ours was completely different, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it's like, you know, the sound bath meditations that I've done before, they're all different experiences as well. There's always different stuff that comes up, and yeah.
What was Leith's Facebook page? Was it gong meditation?
It's gong sound meditation, I think, or is it gong meditation? But anyway, I'm sure if you search gong meditation and Leith James, like Leith James, James, the normal way we spell James.
Did you have a gong?
This is my mocha. Maybe there's something gong-like in my mocha. Who knows? So yeah, there we go.
All right.
We're such awesome we're so good at promoting that, aren't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, search Leith James Gong Meditation. I think he does events all throughout Brisbane, Gold Coast. I'm not sure about Sunshine Coast, but definitely Gold Coast.
Just check his page out and see where he's at.
All the information's there. So, but yeah, I would definitely do the Gong meditation again. As I said, I probably wouldn't do an 8-hour sleepover one, but I definitely do like a 2 to 3 hour shorter one. That would be.
What about getting up there on the gongs?
That'd be cool fun, actually. It's like, it was interesting what you said before, actually, about wondering what kind of benefits that the gong player would actually get as well. I think there'd be some sort of, I can see it as kind of like a meditative kind of, like, you know, getting into the flow of it and using your body to kind of create, you know, almost like a Tai Chi kind of, you know, sweeping, flowing movement with it. So I think it'd be fun to play.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I think there's definitely benefits from, because it's like with anything. It's like, you know, gardening can be meditative. Like going for a walk can be meditative. It's like, you know, running can be meditative. Like anything can be meditative. Anything that gets you, you know, mindful and just focused on the task at hand, you know, is... into
the moment.
Yeah, so I think, that'd be fun.
Yeah. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button below.
Yes, or above, or to the side, or wherever it is. We still haven't figured this out. It's like our third podcast. Is this our third? I've lost it. Maybe I still don't have my language back.
You've been affected.
Yeah, still affected.
You've been gonged.
Yeah, I've been gonged. That's a new T-shirt. I've been gonged. Maybe that's what that Leith needs for his merchandise.
And for our next experience, I think we're at this stage looking to do the breath work, the cacao ceremony with Dan Poro.
Yeah, so the Heart Awakening in Brisbane, that's on the 24th of July. So that'll be the cacao, the breath work, and the sound healing as well. So that'll be the second time that I've done the Heart Awakening event with Dan, but you've done a lot more events with Dan. So
yeah, well, he has different ones. The heart ceremony with the, what is it, Heart Awakening? That's
Heart Awakening.
Cacao.
And we obviously did the one with him with the ice bath. That was our first podcast. So with the breath work and the ice bath. But the breath work is completely different.
It's just completely...
in the Heart Awakening.
Yeah, it's 3 hours of just breath work.
And the sound healing, which was just, really peaceful and awesome. So, so that I think will be our fourth podcast for July. So that should be good. So stay tuned for that. And anything else you want to say about gongs?
Maybe just post any suggestions on
that's a good idea.
Maybe post in the comments below. Or, join our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Which
Divine Adventures with Olga and Nathan. because we like to keep our name short.
Love
Would it be DAOON? Daoon, if we were to have an acronym. Daoon. So maybe we'll just stick it with Divine Adventures.
All right.
Awesome. Over and out.
Thanks for listening.
See you guys.
See ya.